they had us doing so much like core shit, bro. So I
Hmm.
think it literally just got used to it from that.
That
Like
makes sense.
sometimes I'll just be home on the off days and be like, all right, you know what, fuck it, bro. We about to do like 200 sit-ups just cause
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
bored as
yeah.
fuck.
I feel you. See, yeah, that's exactly how I was with like soccer and stuff.
Oh man, all right,
Yo.
we're here. It is
Yo,
time. Maury, how are you doing today? How you feeling? How you been feeling this past week? Actually, let me
This
ask you that.
this past week has been absolutely amazing. Finishing school, um,
yes, sir.
out of this world.
Woo!
Scheduled my test for my licensing, getting
When
that
is that?
ready. I've got 2 weeks. The
Mm.
26th. The
Oh,
26th
bet.
is my test date for that, hopefully, and then literally have a job the moment. I will be going to work the day after, as long as I get my license, right?
Bro, that sounds like how the
That's
shit was
dope.
supposed to be in like the 80s and 90s. Get a
Exa-
job straight out of education, bro.
yes, sir.
I would need some of that, bro.
And then today, I mean, competed in Brawlhalla's Bearded Brawl.
With slow motion, of course.
Yes, sir.
And
Shout
how
out
was
to
that going
him.
for you?
He's always a great TO. Always awesome watching his streams and everything. But yeah, went
Good dog.
great. Slayed out all the way until right before top eight, and then had to dip out. Had to DQ
Oh,
myself to get dinner ready and get the kids in bed.
damn responsibilities,
All
bro.
right.
You can't just free up the bracket like you used to. But that's great to hear, though, man.
I do. It was fun. It was a lot of fun today for once playing Brawlhalla.
For
yes,
once,
sir.
oof. We're gonna get into that actually.
Yeah.
Moru, how you feeling?
I'm feeling
Hmm.
good. I streamed some practice earlier. I got my best offline placement for as
Bro,
Xanadu
I
since
seen the bracket, bro.
yeah.
I
Whoa.
seen the
I
bracket. You played Sandstorm, by the way, round
I
two
did
of
Oh,
play
yeah, I
Sandstorm.
Sandstorm.
heard
Yeah, we
that.
were talking and stuff like that prior to the bracket, and we were like having good good combo and stuff like that. He's a really cool.
Uh-huh.
He's a really cool dude. Like we were
That's
talking,
facts.
and I was watching some of his sets, but like the set he had before mine, and then some of his sets after. But
Mm.
we were it was dope. He's a super dude, cool dude. But yeah, I got 13th, close to the top eight. Need a couple more, gonna get there. But I played really well, and I definitely think like need like one or two more level ups, and I'll
There we
try to hit
go.
that top eight.
Bro,
Good.
I've been waiting for this for the longest.
Yeah, that's dope.
I'm so hyped, bro.
I am too. So yeah, that's
I was happy, like, bro. I seen the bracket, and you went through like straight up like four straight losers rounds,
yeah.
just cleaning house. I'm like, god damn.
Yeah,
Okay, bet.
I was feeling it. And then the thing was like my match before my the match before my last match I won.
Uh huh.
Um, I was like I've been playing straight like matches and like I was playing like full mental like the whole time. To the point where I was like I was so mentally exhausted. Like I couldn't input, so I was just playing like pure fundamentals the whole time. And I'm like I'm gonna just beat him off with just pure fundamentals. Won the match, and then the next dude I'm like I need water right now
And
because I cannot play. I cannot function. I drank some water and then just the next year just sweat free. It was so like I was like, yeah, no, this is easy.
I feel like people who don't compete don't understand that concept you're talking about
They
because
don't.
I've been
bro.
like, I feel like we've probably all been there right now at some
Mhm.
point to where you literally compete at like your best level, and then right
Yeah.
after you are so
So
drained,
exhausted.
so
Fast.
drained mentally, physically, emotionally. Like even if you win, like even it doesn't even matter if you win. It could be the hypest win ever.
Yeah,
After it's done, and you're just like, holy sh! Like, like you
Your
said, I need
whole
some
body
water,
tensed
man.
up.
Dude,
some
I've had it drain me so bad to where like my next match should have been like literally an easy like just freebie match,
Um,
and I've lost them or I've like barely won them, like
yep,
struggled my ass off because you're just so just burnt.
same,
bro, for
100%
real.
same.
Like learning, like okay, learning how to be good at the game is one thing, but then pacing yourself is like a whole different
Oh yeah, there's
fucking aspect of the game of being a competitor, really.
the
Yep.
pacing part of the game is the only part of the game you can't teach someone.
Yeah, because everybody's pace is different.
Yep,
Right.
Everybody can do it differently, right?
you have to legitimately just go into by playing and learning how to be able to pace yourself. Because like the thing too is like I went into it with a different mindset than I usually have when I go play. So
Hmm.
like going in with a different mindset means that like I have to apply different energy than I would normally because you're thinking about things differently. You're going about situations differently. So energy is being displaced in a way different way than you normally would, and because of it, it was like I'm using so much more energy on matches that like maybe might not care about as much, or not necessarily like they're bad players, but like it's just like situations just going to be like ones I would be more comfortable in. I would use more energy than I might normally because I'm trying to focus in a different mindset
Right.
than
Right.
go into these matches where it's like, okay, this dude I know I can beat, or I've beaten him before. Went to like last game, last stock because I'm so mentally drained from having to apply this thought process for like 4 games in a row. Like it's just it's a different ideology altogether from pacing, from just actually getting good at the game.
Yeah.
It's an entire journey to be sure, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely great to hear. Bro, again, I'm super excited to see you moving
Yeah,
forward.
facts.
Stuff like Xanadu. And for me personally, bro, it's been like it's mainly just been like a self-reflection week, like just reading up on a lot of things in general, like outside of gaming, because I'm literally not playing any games right now aside from like Apex every now and again. And so
And I've seen you doing some work. I've seen you guys doing some work in the Apex
Yeah, we're
games.
trying.
yeah, you know, man. You know what I mean? So again, with all of that out the way, welcome everyone to Meraki's Game States, episode 5. This time, and I hope you're doing well with us, by the way. I cannot forget that. Hope you're doing well today. Episode 5. It's a major day for Brawlhalla. We've heard a lot of great news. A lot of great news that could spell some great things for us in the future. So we have Brawlhalla, BMG implemented their own version of Special K, which for the purpose of this episode, we're just gonna call Native K.
Yeah.
Since you don't have to download another program, it's just built in. And if you play on Steam and you want to get Native K for yourself, just go over to Foda's Twitter at Fodakahn, Fodakahn, and there's like basically one of the first tweets on this page is literally how to use it. And then we want to go over the balance patches as well, or I guess new test features that they have. So I should say,
Do we want to do a demonstration for people if they don't know how to, if they don't understand Foda's tweet?
I mean, if you have it up already, you can might as well.
I don't know if I think I'll lose my cam.
You know, okay, we can save it for later then.
But yeah, at the end, if you guys stick around and you want to learn how to use it, we'll do a little tutorial at the end of the stream. Show how to make sure you have your tech test on, how to do everything for it for the native 4K or native special K, all that. We'll do a little special on it at the end.
Yeah, for sure, man. So among the first changes that we see in the patch notes, there is a new experimental map set for tournament players.
Yes, sir.
So let me just make sure. So it looks like they're getting rid of Mammoth Fortress.
Thank God.
Along with Great Hall. So thank God for Mammoth Fortress. You didn't like it that much.
Which one is Mammoth Fortress again?
Mammoth Fortress is just the big map with the one platform that's moving. The green one, the one that everyone plays on all the time.
That stage?
They got rid of Mammoth
Fortress. Okay. I don't. It's not that I don't like the map. I actually enjoy the map, but that's all you ever see, right? Like that's literally everybody's go-to map, right?
Yes, I agree with you. But the reason why is because that map was goated. That map go crazy.
It does go crazy.
I do.
But having it out is gonna hopefully add some new dynamic to it. And then what'd you say was the other one?
Great Hall.
Yeah, screw that map. Screw that map.
Great Hall was like I played.
Screw that map.
Great Hall was in my map. Like it was a map that I didn't ban because I know people didn't fuck with it at all, and I couldn't care less, bro. I'm like, if you don't like these other maps I picked, Great Hall is right there for you, man. Like if you want to do it, come on.
Nobody's picking that map. Nobody's picking that map.
Bro, so George, your thought process. So things because we went through your ban list for like when your year, right? And so the thing was like when we were talking about it, I had the same thought process when I do a Smash, where I'm like, when people used to want to play against Lilat, I would just be like, I would leave it open because I'm like, if you are crazy enough to pick me on this stage, you either are going to cheese me for one, which I'm not gonna let you do, or two, you don't understand what you're about to put yourself through. I'm down for both. Let's run it. Like that's the whole thought process, right? So I'm with that in mind. Great Hall should have been gone.
I mean,
with that thought process in mind, they definitely should have let it go.
Cause like, okay, the way when you see Great Hall and like maps like Lilac for Smash, when you're approaching it, I mean, of course, you're weighing the pros and cons for every map,
Yeah, for sure.
but it's like just only cons, and you're like,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
I've accepted these cons.
You're going in with assuming that like the cons are in your favor, not that you have more pros. That's what you're going into.
I think
Like,
it's
literally.
it's more of like you're going in with like who's got like the masochist mindset. Like we're both gonna
Oh
be in
yeah,
pain.
oh yeah,
We're both gonna be in pain, but I'm just gonna deal with the pain better than you, right?
oh yeah, for sure. And if you hear someone tell you that they're like, "Oh, I love Great Hall" or "I love Lilat," either one of those two, first of all, don't be friends with them, and then two, they don't they don't know what they're not ready for the game. They're not here for it. They only want you to
But
feel pain, and that's it. That's all they're
Right,
here for.
right.
there's two people who exist, bro. People who fucking lie about loving Great Hall, and the other person does not even exist.
Yeah, that's
It is
facts.
not real.
They're not real.
Not real. And so it looks like they're planning to graduate a couple of the I guess the more experimental maps like Spirit Realm. I believe that came with the Kung Fu Panda
I like
crossover.
that one. I do.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's pretty good, and I think they shifted the platforms a little bit, so it's like a little more on stage. So it's like it's
Mhm.
kind of like how Great Hall side platforms were, except it's not as like Great Hall,
Mhm.
I assume. But
Yeah.
I want to see it in play first, and
Turn,
then
yeah.
that map, I don't even remember what it's called, the dragon.
It's a
Oh,
small Fortress of Lions.
Fortress and Lions,
Yeah.
yeah, which came from the recent Battle Pass as well. Like I
Mhm.
believe Battle Pass 3 or 4. So before this current one, in that stage, it has one platform. I don't think it moves, so it's just kind of
I
like
don't think so.
Oh,
a
wait,
static.
Small Fortress of Lions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which one's that one?
it's like the one with like the church, like the stained glass line in the middle in experimental where it has the one platform.
It
Dark.
came
Hold
from
on,
the
Oh,
yeah.
yes,
It came from
yes.
the last Battle Pass or what, the last one,
one
right?
one of the
It was
recent ones for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. The one,
the,
oh,
the
yeah.
Yes.
Transylvania one,
Yes,
whatever it was
yeah.
called.
Yep.
Mhm. And so it's like to me it feels like just like a static APOC low key.
Yeah.
The
Right.
walls look to be of similar size. Forge of the Lions might have a slightly bigger wall, but it looks like they have a pillar below, so you can't like other side somebody on the map.
Right.
That's good.
Which
Same thing with
Yeah.
the Spirit Realm, right?
yeah, they have pillars on the
Yep.
bottom.
Okay.
So now that we're here, okay, now that we're here on this topic, actually, it didn't even occur to me until just now, right? So the
Okay.
pillars.
In the middle, yeah.
Yes, correct. Below the stage,
Mhm.
they block you from going to the other side. When does a player choose to go to the other side? Right, you're probably dealing with weapon throws or something with like overwhelming hitboxes or something that can cover a lot of space easily, right?
Mhm.
So it's like gauntlets. We have axe, hammer, lance, probably. We have orb, but like
Yep.
high maneuverability or high like spit like area coverage. Now okay. You know what? This is
It's
actually
gonna
another more
it's gonna
perfect
pair
situation.
well with the update.
It is gonna pair well with the update now that now that we're here. Because
True.
okay, like now you can't other side somebody. And two, another change that they added is that they're gonna centralize weapon spawns more to the center. So it's no longer is it gonna be like quote unquote RNG, which I think it was random, but we've seen some weird instances of it. And it's no longer
Random.
gonna spawn as high as it used to before.
Right.
So
Oh, you're going a different route than I was thinking.
bro,
Because
uh,
they also added the wall slips, right?
they did
Yeah.
add the wall slip, yeah.
So now you don't have that opportunity to make, like, you don't have that long of a time to have a decision to make, like, do I try and cross over, like, especially with being stuck on one side, you are stuck there.
So for the wall slip change, right? We went from like wall slip activating after using 15 resources, so jumps and recoveries basically on the wall without touching the stage. Now it's down to 9.
Yeah, that's a huge
So it's
change.
like a 33% reduction, basically, like something like crazy.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
let's like really get into it. Like how do you guys feel? Like how much do you guys think this is gonna change the gameplay? Or is it like because like okay, obviously people are gonna have to like quote unquote like change how they play a little bit, or like
Yeah.
they're using less options, or they're just taking away options from us. Really, we have less
Okay.
options on the wall. We can't go under the stage.
Okay, but
We
I
know they're
think
gonna fall in the middle. Go ahead.
personally, I think this is going to help somebody's people who, because I think a big gripe between, especially the three of us, we've talked about quite a bit, and I've heard a lot of other pro players talk about, is your advantage state not being that as advantageous as it should be, right?
Right.
So I don't know. This could be different for you guys, but for me personally, when I'm edge guarding, and these people have 15 like quote unquote attempts or whatever to sit there and play off stage and wait for me to make a mistake to get back on stage, it's really hard to keep that pressure for that long of a time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if I push my advantage, I push my opponent off stage, and now I'm edge guarding. Now I only have to edge guard for slightly over half the amount of time that I did previously. So it's a lot easier for me on my side, considering that I'm playing advantage state. I push my opponent off, and now I have a less window to make a mistake, right? And
Right.
it lets me keep my advantage state now instead of like I feel like in the way it's been with the 15, if you push somebody off stage like that, like as time goes by, your advantage lessens because like it's more likely you're going to make a mistake edge guarding. You're going to be in a bad position. You're not going to be in the right position to make a play or whatever, right? Now you have a much shorter window. It's a lot easier for you to keep your advantage state and to be like to get something from your advantage state, right? Hopefully maybe a proper edge guard or maybe something along those lines, right?
Mhm.
Which all of that stuff, like it's funny because it didn't even really occur to me till you mentioned it just now. But a big part of like getting more, like just getting better at the game is like there's a bunch of situations that people tend to panic in. Like that's always gonna happen. But like you have to get better than other people. You have to learn how to deal with that panic and like just look at the situation from like a more objective standpoint.
Yeah.
So people fear being on the wall of a lot, like way more than is actually warranted by the game, right? Because like you said, there's 50, yeah, 15. Yeah, 15 like you can do 15 options before you activate Wallslip. So
Right.
you're on there for a long time. It alleviates the pressure for you mentally. But like for the person who's edge guarding you, they kind of get like lulled to sleep. It's like a sort of like a hypnosis because they're sliding down the wall, jump, jump, sliding down the wall, jump, jump. And if it's like certain weapons, you don't even want to try and edge guard them. You're
Right.
gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
So
Gonna get
that
reversed by scythe or gauntlets. Like yeah.
right. So I feel like this change will give people or try to give people more to worry about
Mhm.
off stage, but I'm not too sure how
I,
effective it's gonna be. But we haven't seen it. We haven't
I
gotten to
Yeah.
see it yet in play.
Right. Like I
Yeah.
said, I don't think it's yeah, I don't know how much it's going to affect the person playing off stage, but I think it's going to be helpful for the person in advantage who is edge guarding because they don't have to edge guard for as long and be as quote unquote perfect for as long.
Right.
I can see that. I think personally, uh, I don't know. Like I think that your route definitely makes sense, but I'm envisioning that it's not gonna matter. And only reason why is because I feel like it's not enough of an extreme for it to change the the game sense of what someone wants. Because at the end of the day, right? So while I do agree with you in that regard for the person who is the edge guarder, not the one getting edge guarded, um, I think at the end of the day, the issue is that when you give someone that many opportunities, you're still giving them you're eventually it goes from the fact of it being that one's in a disadvantageous position and to basically going from before what it was is that it went from 1 point even to them being advantage,
Right.
right? Where now it's that at minimum I feel like the even is still there and possibly there could still be an advantage for them.
Right. It still might
Um
be too long,
yeah,
but this is definitely
but it
a
does
good
help.
test
It does
feature.
help.
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
agree. It does help. But I think that I want I what I want is that or my concern is that I don't know if it will matter at like later on because I feel like that we'll just end up seeing the same type of gameplay,
Hmm.
but it'll
Right.
help the people that actually want to like who want to play the game a little bit more for sure.
Hmm.
Like for instance, like you said, because the thing is like not everyone's edge guarding,
Right. And
Uh-huh.
so that
and
this
then
could add
what
a new game a new gameplay in a sense of
I hope
people
so.
who want to actually put effort into the edge guard now because
Yeah,
there's a little bit better opportunity now.
definitely I hope so. And the thing is too is like majority of Brawlhalla players don't ledge trap.
Right.
Like
That
there's
is
a vast majority do not ledge trap ever, and because of that fact, it's really hard to I want ledge trapping to be something that is an aspect of the game a little bit harder because ledge trapping is like one of the founding things of platform fighters that doesn't exist in Brawlhalla as
Right.
much. It does exist, but it's not as significant just because of kind
Yeah,
of
it's
the game's
not potent.
mechanics. Yeah,
Yeah,
but then it's
the
like you look at literally every other platform fighter, and even like the father of all of them being Smash. Like there's
the ledge is a hurdle that you have to
yeah,
cross.
exactly.
But
And I
in
think that's the
Brawlhalla, you have 3 jumps, and you can literally just vault over the hurdle without
yeah.
dealing with the consequences of
Yeah.
where you put yourself.
Yep. And I think that was the one thing that helped. That like for me, friends, when I was trying to compete in Brawlhalla, and also when I was just trying to get better at the game. Well, when I started panicking on the wall altogether, and I realized that like when I started getting better at Smash, and realized I'm like, wait, I have the amount of opportunities I have in this game compared to Smash is literally like an infinite
Infinite.
amount.
Oh yeah.
Like
Well,
because in
there's so many
Smash it's like
variables too in Brawlhalla,
yes,
dude. There's so many different, like you said, all these jumps, even 9 now, and that you have regular falls, you've got fast falls, you've got different recovery speeds. So many vast different recovery speeds. It's so many variables. It can be very difficult to do a proper edge guard or ledge trap. Yep.
for sure. And the thing is like I think too is that is really hard because like what you're saying is that like matchups are weird in that game because matchups do exist, but they can't be played sometimes just because of how weird some of the like some situations just become, right? Where it's
Yep.
like you could you could play a weapon matchup, but because someone has a different stat line or they added an extra their stance gives them a different stat, it changes the way that the weapon plays just enough slightly that you have to look at the situation slightly different.
Hmm, does it?
At times, yeah. I mean, they're like characters get some combos off of different stances, right?
Yeah, but like that's honestly people don't really care about that shit. Like just to be so real, like they don't care about stat lines really. People were on 2 decks, 2 defense, whatever the fuck they want, because these like the combos don't like
Right.
it doesn't really matter in the long like in the grand scheme of the actual gameplay.
But
Like
yeah,
if you're playing like Terrors and you're on 2 decks, you're still covering the same amount of area. Like people are still gonna have to try and like cover that distance between you and the hitbox. So it
Mm,
doesn't matter as long as you can still hit your bread and butters.
right.
Like stomp stairs like doesn't go anywhere no matter the decks, and it's
yeah,
like
Right.
I guess, yeah,
cool we got
that's
that.
fair.
Right.
I guess
So
that's
like
fair.
and like that's like one like minor issue I have with the game where like stats don't really feel like they matter anywhere near as much as they were like intended to.
Right.
But that's like a whole different thing,
I
honestly.
mean, I don't know.
So yeah, so basically covered like wall slip. We talked a lot about the wall slip.
Yep.
So how do you think how do you think the weapon spawning in the center of this like closer to the center of the stage is gonna affect the gameplay?
Do you want who wants to go first? Because I have thoughts. Obviously,
Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm
that's
interested. Yeah.
this is like I'm not gonna lie to you. This might be one of the worst decisions that they've ever made, knowing how bad the current meta is. Because all this is gonna because
Ooh.
the issue is right now with the game, right, is that everyone is playing center stage, is literally playing center stage and camping and not interacting, right? So you're going to make it so that the one thing that makes it a little bit easier for the game to be played is
Uh-huh.
getting more centralized instead of it being random, which gave people more opportunities, right? If I
Mhm.
know where it's because the thing before is that it wasn't random. It was random in the sense of like the exact placement, but you knew that it was always going to spawn between a specific. It always spawned within a specific area
Yeah,
every
yeah,
time.
and primarily like one of the things that Noel had like mentioned to me, or like I believe he mentioned it. Yeah, he mentioned to me like, okay, and it's something a lot of people never really abuse or like thought to abuse. I don't believe. Where if you the higher you are on the screen, like if you spawn in and you're unarmed, there's no weapons like spawn on the stage.
Yeah,
If you jump, if you jump high enough and you like the camera like zooms out, the weapon can spawn higher, which means
yeah,
you yourself can reach it easier. And like cool, like somebody might have hammer, somebody might have axe, whatever. Gauntlet, cool. They might recovery nair. It does not like it
it
doesn't
doesn't
matter. You still
matter.
have your
Yeah.
dodge because they went up there. The weapon is falling down. You're going down. You're grabbing the weapon.
Mhm. Which is
End of
yeah,
it.
which is good. This is a good thing because you're spawning in. You're already spawning in at a disadvantageous position, whether you're a stock up or not. It doesn't matter, right? Like
Uh-huh.
you have invincibility, cool, okay, whatever. That doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like I'm be honest with you, that if you're a good player, I don't care what platform card you have, that invincibility doesn't matter because everyone has strategies how to play around invincibility. We have them in Smash. We have them like in any game. It doesn't matter what it is. So with that in mind, it's like when you're you're making so that the weapons are more centralized and that they're lower to the ground. There's less opportunities for you to be able to get out of that disadvantageous positioning, right? And I'm a big proponent of punishing people for like punishing people in fighting games as much as possible, but it still should be within some type of grounds. That's always how I feel. Like I don't think comeback mechanics are a thing that fighting games should have often, right?
Right.
But you should still give the opportunity that it should not be the game. If the game is already being played where everyone's sitting center stage and they're not playing the game, and you're making so the weapons are closer to center stage where people are not playing the game and they're not interacting, I don't know if that's going to be the best decision for the meta.
So with what you literally just said in mind, earlier when I saw these changes, I had tweeted that I feel like these changes are gonna make the game more uninteractive.
Yeah,
And
100%.
now this is the important part. I feel like this is gonna be an important conversation. So Wilson replies and he says it's gonna become a game of guarding and controlling the power up. This is one change I think a lot of pros want, but don't realize how the game will change. So let's keep this in mind that like it's a vocal. I don't know if it's a majority or minority or whatever. Everyone who was advocating for weapon spawns to be closer to the center were louder for sure, like by far.
Yeah.
And this is what people asked for. So where are we I don't like where are we putting the blame? Like what do we think about the fact that people are asking for BMG to listen? The pros, the high level players, everybody, whatever, said we want weapon spawns to be closer to the center. They listen, and now but we think it's gonna be negative for the meta.
That's the thing is like I don't know if they thought through what they were thinking because I think they were thinking like, oh, I don't want everyone like they were saying like it's so annoying when people get their weapons like after they're in disadvantage because the weapons spawn next to them and whatever the reason may be, it doesn't matter. I don't think they realized the fact that the game like that this is not like if the weapons are like next to me and I'm already playing center stage and I don't care. Like I'm not saying specifically calling anyone out, but I'm saying like if I'm Luna, a top player in this regard, right, and I see the weapon spawn right in front of me, while you're sitting in the corner trying to be able to force an interaction, I'm throwing my weapon and grabbing the other weapon and moving back to where I was before, and I'm not playing the game again.
Right.
What's the point? Unless this is the meta that everyone wants, which I'm like,
I don't think it's what they want.
well, if they don't, we gotta have a talk with somebody because I don't know what y'all are asking for because that doesn't make sense to me. Like there's only one way, or there's only a couple ways to make that so that the weapon spawns can be forced interaction. Is where you either baby mode it or you like Maury's suggestion, but I'm not gonna say because it's his suggestion. But Maury's suggestion, I feel like is another good way. But the only other way I think of is you baby mode it and you make it so that when weapons spawn, either it spawns on top of you or you make it so that you can grab it for a certain amount of time. Like the person who doesn't have a weapon. That's the only way that you could do it. But if you baby mode it, people would be very upset.
I don't think I've heard that second one before.
I don't know if I like the idea, but it works.
It's something. It's something for sure. It's something though.
It's something for sure. But it definitely baby modes it. So it's like I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about that. Like that specific thought process. But like you have to baby mode it, or you have to go off of what Maury said. And I think I like Maury's idea, but I'm gonna let him go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, well, first off, I think you guys are right. I think a lot of players don't realize what this is going to do for people who are trying to actually get the weapon, right? But in a sense, now it does. Like you said, it one part of the game that has been lacking, that I still think is lacking, is being an advantage state. And this definitely gives a hand up for people who are in an advantage state in this situation, because now people who are adamant on weapon starving, it's so much easier now for them. Mm-hmm. So much easier to weapon starve, which at the end of the day helps you hold your advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's what people wanted. I don't think that's what people at the end of the day really wanted or were really thinking about, because now it's so much easier because before you were trying to pick a side. Which side do I like? Which side? If I'm gonna try and weapon starve this guy, which side do I want to be on? And then you pick wrong. You know, now there's no picking wrong. As long as you're anywhere near the center, you're gonna be able to weapon starve
Yep.
if you
What
want.
I would do, to weapon star people is like, okay, I take your stock. I have my weapon. I'm going to the center of the stage. I'm jumping up. I'm throwing my weapon up,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
I'm hunting that spawn for you, bro.
I
Right.
used to
Like, you're not
literally.
gonna.
I stole that from you. I used to do that because of you.
And
Like
now
I
the
stole
weapon's
points
gonna
that.
spawn on top of you while you do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
got to do all that extra shit now. Like, the weapon's coming to me, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely don't
Telling
think
you.
this is gonna have the effect that people were hoping for.
Nope.
But I personally think I have my personal opinion the best solution to weapon spawns and another issue that people have been severely complaining about. I am a complainer of weapon throws. Right.
Uh,
My idea is you completely.
hold on, real quick. We be seeing like NBA numbers from Snowy, bro.
Dude,
He
In
be dropping
fact, bro,
49,
he be
28.
dropping
God
bro,
damn,
he be
bro.
dropping bombs, dog.
Bro, he
He
be
be
trying to get a
dropping
triple.
bombs.
dude,
How you get a triple double in Brawlhalla, bro?
Yeah,
I
bro,
ain't never seen that shit
bro, he's
before.
going crazy.
dude.
He's
I
putting up, bro. He's putting up LeBron numbers per
Oh
match.
I
I'm like,
what was this last tournament that
Ever.
just happened? What was this last Steel
You talk
Series?
about Steel Series. Well, Steel Series ones is about to happen, but
Okay, but
twos happened last weekend.
twos.
Yeah.
I literally turned the stream on, and it was like the recap of a stream. It was a recap of a match, right?
yeah.
And it was Snowy Boomy. They had a combined total of over 45 weapon throws in the in the one match, man.
And yo,
40 combined over 45 weapon throws, and it's just like,
Oh,
they're playing the game though,
Yeah.
man.
okay.
You
So
can't even be mad at them.
no, I'm not mad. They're putting Shaq and Kobe numbers up. They doing
I-
things. I'm here for it. They're going crazy.
okay.
I'm
Looking
here
like the
for it.
Lakers. I'm fucking.
Yes, sir.
I'm spawn babbing, bro. Yeah,
So
ankles
Numbers are hitting,
gone.
dog. They are the Splash Brothers of Brawlhalla right now. They are doing work. I'm here for it.
Oh my
Let's go.
Yo,
They are doing the most.
hey yo.
All right, I'm sorry, Maury. Go ahead.
Okay,
Get
no,
your
please.
suggestion. My
Okay,
apologies.
you change.
okay. So my idea to combat this weapon spawn issue and weapon throw issue, my idea here, and I think if I wish this could get spread out to more people, remove it. Remove it entirely. Everybody spawns with their weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the ability to swap weapons, but it's on a cooldown based off of. I think this will be another good point is that decks, people complain about decks not really having any type of, value.
Right.
You have weapon swaps on a cooldown based off of your decks, right? Whatever they make up the numbers, they figure it out, whatever works. So you get to switch your weapon, and now you're on a 5-second cooldown before you can switch your weapon again, 10-second cooldown before you can switch your weapon again, right? And it's gonna be, it's not gonna be instant. There's gonna be animation frames for it or whatever, whatever. Do all that fancy stuff, and now you don't have to worry about that. And then put weapon throws on a cooldown based off of your decks the same way, right? So if you throw your weapon, say you make a successful hit, perfect. That's some skill based, sure, if you want to call it skill based. You connect with your weapon, you get to pick it back up, but you don't get to throw that weapon again for whatever 10 seconds. And if you miss your weapon throw, now you're unarmed, right? Now you're
for
on
the same cooldown.
Yeah, for the same cooldown.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Now you're
sense.
unarmed.
Dude, okay.
I really like that. Yeah.
At first, honestly, when I was listening to you, I felt like there was a part of me internally that was like rebelling against it. I'm like, no, I don't like it. But honestly, dude,
Nah, yeah, it makes sense.
it might be something they have to try, honestly.
I honestly
I
think
think
that's
so.
huge. I think that's huge. It keeps unarmed gameplay in, which unarmed stuff is pretty cool, right? We've all watched some cool unarmed, combos that have wowed people.
Yeah, especially like Simba type, like Simba, crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Facts.
And I say you throw it. Let's say you put it on a big cooldown. You throw your weapon, you miss it. You're on a 10 seconds of unarmed. Let's just say 10 seconds of unarmed gameplay. Now you're stuck with, based on your decks, right? If you have high decks, maybe that drops you down to like 6 seconds or something. Who knows? They have to figure out the numbers. But yeah, you still get unarmed gameplay in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I 100% agree with it.
I think that's a way to balance that whole issue.
Yeah, And you still get some of like the really good like edge guard like checkmates almost where like
Yeah.
where you dash throw a weapon off stage and then you like dare them because they dodged through
Right.
or like GC satellite. You still have that kind of stuff in there.
Yep.
Which but like again because like that stuff is like I feel like that those kind of like setups are like really good. But like especially because like how do I say? Yeah, and I just think those setups are really good and that it would bring a different it's just a different element of gameplay into the
Definitely.
forefront.
Right.
I think it makes it more skill based
For
because
sure.
in that regard, and then also it's like that's one of my personal biggest gripes of Brawlhalla is that there's too many situations where there's not a requirement of skill, right? And
Yeah.
that brings that
Right.
requirement. Because the thing is, and that's the thing, that's my biggest gripe with the game as a whole is that there's too many. Like I've talked about this before. I understand on the podcast, but I've talked about this with you guys before. But I'm like, this game is literally just a bunch of mini games over and over and over again, and it is literally just, do you know what to do in said mini game? If you
Right.
figure it out, congratulations. If not, well, on for it, right? And I unfortunately believe that a huge aspect of that is that it's missing shield. And I'd say this, and I'm going to stop harboring on platform fighters not using
Goddamn Smash
shield.
players, bro.
I know,
Fuck.
right? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It's my bad. Let me stop playing that game. That's really what it is.
That's the real problem. Anyways, continue, please. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But no, this like I harbor on. I know I harbor on a lot when it comes to a lot of different platform fighters. I don't have this thought process with just Brawlhalla, but because I think that this is like an aspect of just like fighting in general that you just can't lack. Like outside of platform fighters, what fighting game can you think of that doesn't have a like form of block or shield? You know,
Right.
it just doesn't work. And
Yeah, I mean we've been over that one for sure.
we talked about it, but it's like so that with that in mind is like with Brawlhalla, it's there's so many aspects of the game where I'm just like I'm wanting more skill towards situations, right? And I think
Uh
that forcing you to things on a cooldown requires a form of management, and that management requires skill because it also requires play or it gives player expression because everyone
Yep.
will do it in different ways and utilize it in the way that makes
right.
sense to them.
I have a quick question for
That's all skill
Maury.
is.
I have a quick question for Maury. So when you say you miss a weapon throw and you cannot pick it back up, so say you're edge guarding somebody, you throw your weapon up to to cover the entire wall. You're telling me like if it doesn't hit anybody on the way down, you cannot pick it up.
Oh, so like if you throw your weapon up and it doesn't hit anybody, like yeah, there's no regrab. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would like reintroduce what Brawlhalla kind of was off stage,
Yeah.
at least in some form. Because I think like honestly, if you still have weapon throws in the game, what Brawlhalla was is kind of forever gone. Like high key,
mhm.
But
no,
would that be a
like
bad thing?
But I think
huh?
that I think this
Would that be a
would
bad
completely change. I definitely think this would completely change the whole aspect of weapon throws. The risk reward value is severely like different, right?
Uh,
Yeah. See,
it. Go ahead.
this is the thing, right? So I said this before the podcast, but I said that I had a suggestion a long time ago that was similar to yours, but not nearly as good. And my suggestion was that take a weapon throws out the game altogether and make it so that you can just switch weapons in the game, and that's it. And everyone just always has weapons, right? I think yours is better because I definitely think that it adds the uniqueness of the game for sure.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
people would rebel without having I love unarmed gameplay.
I do too, and I did. And back then, I used to love playing unarmed, but I was like, I that's how much I was. I still love unarmed gameplay. I still love playing unarmed, but that's still in the thought process. It's like sometimes I'm just like I just don't know how like I just want to feel what the game would be like just once, like
Right.
without it being in the game. Just want to see what it would feel like. I know no one would like it,
Uh,
but it would just but I don't know. It intrigues me to think that it's an aspect of the game that could exist, and I don't know. I think it would be. I feel like if the game had started that way, I feel like the game would be a lot better.
Right.
I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie.
and perhaps,
That might be
but
controversial, but that's how I feel.
is anything really controversial at this point when it comes to talk about Brawlhalla? I don't know.
Well, I mean, we did this. I did just say that I think the pro players are stupid. So I guess that's pretty controversial.
That was Maru saying that. Definitely not me,
But
bro.
yeah, you can put me. Yeah, you can
I
put me on the chopping block.
definitely
That's
not just
fine.
say that
No,
shit.
I don't care. That's fine. They can be mad at me all day long. My Twitter is in the description. Wherever you need, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, true. However, again, just to agree with Wilson again, I just don't think like we knew what we were asking for when we said when we want to centralize weapon spawns.
Yep.
Especially how the game has been played in the past year. Because I can probably like understand it like before, but the gameplay now,
But
the meta now, I don't think.
But
that's
this
the
is
one.
just a test feature, right?
It is a test feature.
Right.
It is only a test feature.
Only a test
And
feature,
it is
everybody.
it's a test feature for a reason.
Right.
For a good reason, bro.
So that's the thing is that I talked about before. I think I said it during the podcast, but I was saying like it feels like every time like BMG adds something, whether it be to the game or to experimental, it always feels like they're like a whole meta behind. Because I'm like, because people suggesting this recently still.
People have been suggesting it for a long time.
Yeah, it's still a hot topic. Yeah, it's still a topic that's brought up quite often.
I feel like it just
Quite
like
often.
if you just look at the game currently, like
Dude,
it's just all
the last major, it was brought up because somebody who was it? Not Wrench, not Boomy. Oh man, I can't think. Somebody had a weapon spawn on the opposite side of them, and I think they ended up losing the game or whatever. And it was like a last stock situation. Yeah, it might have been.
That happens a lot.
But
I've seen it happen.
And that was it was a complaint literally just this last major. So yeah, it's definitely a current thing that's brought up all the time.
That's so crazy to me. I get it because the weapon spawns being random in general is annoying. But at the same time, having centralized like in current meta, that's literally like I don't know if people realize it, but we're like the game. No one's playing the game right now. That's not going to make it people play the game more.
So essentially, BMG, listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, take Maury's suggestion, please, because I want. There's no interactions happening, and then if the weapons are spawned in the middle, I, as a competitor, if I'm playing to win, not to play for fun, and I see that the weapons are spawning towards the centralized middle, and I have a lead, oh, you best believe I'm never moving in my life. You have given me no reason to ever move now. Before, at least I would move if I wanted to get the weapon to make sure you couldn't get it or something. But now, no, I have no reason to move because there's gonna be that one point in between where the weapons are gonna be spawned, and you're gonna be able. And it's just the moment I see you approach, I'm hitting you. The moment you try to grab the weapon, I'm grabbing it and throwing it out the way. Nope, nothing for you. Never.
That is so underrated because, like, even like again, the weapon spawn being RNG, it forced some level of interaction, like you literally just mentioned. Like whoever has the advantage, they still have to chase you around the map to make sure you don't get the spawn.
Yeah, definitely.
But now you can just defend your bubble.
Which by the way, I absolutely hate because I had my literal first ever ranked. What's that called?
Ranked game?
No, ranked.
Sudden death?
Sudden death. Yeah, because I was literally chasing this guy around the map the entire oh my gosh,
bro, and like. Okay, so like now you can defend your bubble, right?
Yeah.
And so that severely limits the strategies you have where you can get the weapon back. So okay, so this guy's like like hugging the center. You have iframes. He jumps. He's like jumping around, you moving around, dash dancing, whatever, cool. And then the weapon spawns. How are you gonna grab the weapon, right? If you get lucky and like he's on the other side of this quote unquote bubble and it spawns on your side. Cool, you have your weapon now. If it spawns closer to him or like whatever, closer to the center, you're gonna have to dash up, dodge, dash up, jump, dodge. Like your options are like way more limited now.
You have to create like a significant amount of mix just to grab the weapon.
Yeah, but like the mix is literally localized.
It's just it's in position basically. Yeah,
so 100%. Guess what the answer to that is? If you don't have a hard read on somebody, you just cover it, bro.
Yep.
You just cover it with a safe aerial or a safe move
every time.
And
I should say too, one thing I should say, I think, although I'm not gonna say whether I like it or not as like me, as a user of it or being used against it. I think good people who are good at weapon starving, like good weapon starving is fire to watch. Regardless of how I feel about it, good weapon starving is fire to watch.
I'm not gonna lie, I love doing it. I've got so many unique little combos that I do with my spear that I love it.
I love it too. But I love like for instance like when I watch Cinco the Weapon Starve, like George has some of the coolest looking weapon starving for sure. Like his weapon starving is fire. Like across the board is just fire, right? Well, no matter how many times he's done it to me, and I've literally never been able to play the game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times it's happened to any of our friends. But
Bro.
on the serious note, the watching it though, it is genuinely some of the most fire. Like it's just fire gameplay, just what it is. It's just really good looking gameplay.
Well, so we might have some more interesting gameplay on our hands.
No.
I hope so. I know. I really do.
I
Hope
hope
so,
it does. No, yeah.
because
Genuinely,
like
I
as
hope
a
it does.
like
But
as a competitor at heart, of course I still watch Brawlhalla terms. I like watching people compete. I like to see how people's mind
yeah,
works
same.
in the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
And when I'm getting when those moments are getting like neglected, like pushed off to the side, or like just taken away from it, it's like but I still watch because I'm a competitor and I love seeing this shit. But
Yeah.
then at the same time, I'm like
But the thing is too is like, for instance, like fight like think of any game you watch right now, whether it be a shooter, fighting game, sports, whatever it may be. If you don't play it, you watch it for the simple fact of like two reasons: either you're trying to learn or you're watching because it's entertaining to watch,
Right.
right? Let's
right,
be honest. That's the only two reasons that you're watching.
yeah,
And if it's for those two reasons, if it's not giving you at least this, like most of the time, people just only are coming for the second one. If you're not doing that, then there's no point in me watching it. And I'm not gonna lie, that's the reason why I haven't watched Brawlhalla in a while, because I have not been entertained by watching the gameplay.
Yeah,
It's just what it is.
when like I said, when I saw that Snowy and Boomy had over a combined total of 45 weapon throws, that was literally when I turned the stream up, turned it on, and then I instantly turned it off because
Yeah, of course,
I wasn't watching that.
Exactly. I can't blame you. And the thing is, like, I was literally thinking to myself too when I saw the notification pop up on my phone. I was like, oh, like I usually what I would do when tournament days happen, I pull up the stream on my phone when I wake up and I watch them before I go do what I'm gonna do, and I have them while I'm like brushing my teeth and stuff like that. The moment I saw the notification, I swiped it away because I knew I was not gonna watch like anything I was gonna watch. I just knew what it was. This is unfortunate what
yeah.
it is, but it's like, and I watch tons of fighting games on Twitch all the time that I don't ever play in my entire. I've never played ever, or have no interest in playing, but I just like them because they're entertaining to watch.
All right, so weapon spawns. What's next?
I believe that's basically about it for the features. To be honest with you,
I think we had
They
graduate. Yeah.
Yeah, they graduated. Like, okay, so the window for initiating a gravity cancel from a directional dodge is now 3 frames, which is 2 frames less than what it was before, I believe. So it's
Right.
like they say it's supposed to help people like reduce like unintentional gravity cancels.
Right.
How big of a deal is that for the gameplay?
I don't know.
No,
I don't think
ever-
I've personally ever experienced an unintentional
you
gravity
explain it?
cancel off of a. They're talking off of a directional dodge, right? Like off
Yeah,
of
directional dodge.
yeah.
And you cancel it into a gravity cancel. So they reduced the window from 5 frames to 3.
So they reduced. So
The
you can
amount of
do it
time you have to
earlier
gravity
now.
cancel. No.
Okay. I thought okay. Now, thank you, because that's what was confusing me when because you were saying and then you said when you say reduce, I'm like that. You're talking about reduce the amount of time that you have to do it, not that
Yes.
it takes. Okay,
Yes.
there we go. That makes sense. Okay, that makes.
Yeah.
But I've literally I don't think I've ever done that in my entire plan.
Yeah, I don't
I've
think
done it
I
either.
have either.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm glad it happened because it's obviously it's happened to somebody, but
It happened to a lot of somebodies.
yeah, apparently, but I've never experienced that. Like I played the game since 2017, 18. I've never had that happen.
Yeah, I can't recall either, but I mean, it
Shout
sounds
out.
like another case of, listening to the people. So
Yeah. I mean,
we're all
I'm
here
here
for the
for it.
communication.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a weird change. 'Cause it was just like I'm like usually when you changes, you're just like okay, like I get it, right? You're like I've experienced that. Like hoorah. But it's just like I don't. This is so. It's like what I was like I've never even seen that before. It's such a interesting change. It's not a bad thing at all. It's just
Yeah, so I mean, again, they got it.
yeah. They got
Honestly,
it. I'm happy for.
I don't have many other thoughts about what's going on currently. How are you guys feeling? Is there anything else you want us to bring to the table?
For me personally, what did we call it? The special K, the in-game special K or whatever.
The native K.
Native K, yeah. I've got. Yeah, I don't know if either of you have had the opportunity to try it out.
No, yeah.
I did. I just didn't. I chose not to. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, like I said, I got to play in Tourney today. I got to use it. Beforehand, for some reason, it didn't matter what I did with my game. It didn't matter what I did with my computer. It didn't matter. I have a 144 hertz monitor, and I was frame locked at 142. And I feel like that was always like my game just never felt right. And when I think it's called, they have like two options. You have frame fix and then frame fix unbound, which
Yeah.
frame fix unbound eliminates VSync, which VSync is always something terrible for anything that's like you need precision on, because VSync just lowers or increases input lag, right?
Yeah, input buffer, yeah.
So I did the frame fix unbound, and I hopped on. I'm like, man, my game's playing pretty smooth. I wonder what's going on. And so I threw up my frames real quick, expecting to see roughly 142. And I pulled that sucker up, and I had 985 FPS.
985?
Yeah, bro. I told him he was running on the NASA computer, dog. I don't know where you get those type of numbers from.
What ECU guy?
But
I was
like,
For real.
damn, bro. Okay, so
oh my goodness.
all right. So honestly, the game felt great though. The game felt amazing. My biggest issue I've had a lot of is like me knowing I have my dodge, me pressing my dodge button and it not coming out and end up getting hit, right?
Yep.
And I don't think I had an instance of that today. So today was a lot of fun to play Brawlhalla. The game felt the best the game's ever felt for me playing. Honestly,
that's fire.
I'm actually really happy to hear that.
Yeah,
because like you are like super passionate and invested in the game. So
yeah, so
that's what we love to hear.
It is exciting, and I think it's huge. I think that's gonna. We still have some net coding issues that we all agree with, like playing online. But this itself is definitely, unfortunately, it's only for PC, right? We console players, you're kind of shit out of luck right now. But for you PC players, this is huge. I definitely think this is going to be huge for people across the board.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed, 1,000%, man.
An insanely good step, like to the right direction.
That we have, I believe, everything we planned out the way. In closing thoughts, gentlemen.
Let's pray for the future Brawlhalla.
Hey, I think this is a huge step for the future of Brawlhalla. I think even with some of the changes might not being what we wanted, they are, or it might not pan out to be what we wanted. We did get what we asked for, right?
Yes, literally.
The only complaint, and it's not even really much of a complaint, right? But I feel like BMG could have mitigated some of these complaints that we've been having for so long, is if like I had zero idea that this was happening today from FOTA, right? Did you guys have any idea, right? And last week we were literally I knew, quote unquote, irate about this problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the thing that I heard about the tournament map things prior, but I don't think that was public knowledge.
Yeah, I heard about the tournament maps thing too. I think they talked about it on a dev stream.
Oh no, was that last week or the week before?
Maybe.
Either way, I believe it was. I believe that was brought up recently.
But this special K, native K, if they would have said something 6 months ago of like, hey, just wanted to remind you guys we are still working on implementing it. We're running tests. We're doing this. That could have calmed a lot of people's like frustrations, right? And then 3 months later, you know, I feel like we're close to implementing an experimental test feature for native K. That would have qualmed so many issues that people were griping about, and like that would have made the community you're not saying that it's coming out this date. You're not saying that it's coming out tomorrow, but you're saying, hey, we're working on it. Hey, we're making progress. Hey, we feel like we're getting close to being able to implement an experimental feature, right? You doing that is how we want to stay involved, right? So like I am over the moon that you guys implemented it. I just think that in future things, think about how maybe you can keep your community involved, and so that way, because like I said, we wouldn't even had to bring it up on our podcast if we knew it was working, right? Or if they were working on it. Yeah, and I've mentioned it on the last two podcasts.
True. I mean, we kind of get back into the whole looping cycle of like, oh, they say something, the community reacts negatively if it's not, here within the X period amount of time. They get backlash. They get mad at the backlash. So like it's.
Yeah, I think the thing with that, and this is my last thing, is just that, they like, so they have it's a relationship, so someone has to give, and it seems like BMG doesn't want to be the ones to do so, and I don't understand why. Because I feel like if they just were to be, they were like, if you like, for instance, if you're saying that's the cycle, right? The cycle could be broken if they just stop complaining about the fact that they're getting backlash and do something about it. Because the thing is, they're not going to be able to fix the millions upon millions upon millions of people that are complaining about their game, because not everyone's going to be willing to stop complaining.
Right.
So why not fix the thing that you can control, which is you guys complaining, and fix that side of things. And I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying like all of it can be issued from one side to make it so that the cycle can start to progress in a better way. That's all.
Understood.
Yep. No hate, but
No hate,
we
no hate
definitely
ever.
we
No.
definitely think you guys are doing the right thing, and
Yeah, for
hopefully
sure.
we are
No
in the
flame.
right direction.
I am on BMG side, regardless of what anyone might believe. I love BMG.
No flame, no flame.
No
No
flame. No flame.
flame.
I want the best for BMG. I want the best for Brawlhalla.
But that okay, that was a good conversation in my opinion, honestly. Like it helped me see a lot of different things, that a lot of potential outcomes that we can have with these changes. So I'm happy for today.
Yep.
Thank you everybody for who came out to watch us. The
Thank you.
upload is gonna be at the same time as usual, Friday noon EST on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. So
Let's
be on
go.
the lookout for that. And I
Yep.
hope you all have a great night. Thank you for coming to Meraki's Game Stays. Episode
Sir.
5.
Yo.
Peace.
Peace.
Catch you guys later.